I'll just read to you exactly what they have here. Moving violations, the total, and this is the stops that they've made and citations they've given. Traffic stop 420, moving and other 169, warnings 654, zeros 70, a total of 893 total citations that they have given out since beginning of the year in January. Now they do things in a comprehensive fashion, so it's kind of hard to keep up unless you digest these month to month. They don't break them down in that way. One thing I do notice is that there's no DUI arrests, which is, I guess, good in its own right, but it just shows no activity in that particular category. So this is what we have. And I know that they're trying to do their best with a limited number of officers on the road. I did want to speak with them. I hoped someone would be there on board tonight because I have seen activity from the Maryland State Troopers here in the last, I guess in the last 30 days. And I wanted to find out exactly what was the wherewithal in terms of that that happening. We certainly want and welcome their enforcement presence, but I don't know the arrangements that has been made. I personally have written a letter to the governor and made remarks in terms of their absence, their need to be here on the road on this state highway as they do with the Charles County segment of the road and all the other things we have talked about as a group many times. I included in the letter. So I don't know if that has made any headway. I've not gotten any follow-up from my letter, but we have seen activity from the Maryland State Troopers on Indian Head Highway making stops along with Prince George's County Police. I welcome that, and I know that you do as well. We just hope that we can continue this, having their presence and everything having to do with the MOU, that for those of us who remember, know about that whole issue, that we can also address that issue as well. I'm going to move on because we have some other things we want to talk about that I think bear probably discussion period of time between all of us. But I don't know. Do we have Peter Kapanides with us tonight?
Yes.
Okay, Peter, good to have you on board. I didn't see you on the screen here, but I'm glad that you're here. Peter, thank you for showing up. I know I don't know if I guess it's not a Maryland State government holiday, the Emancipation.
No, it's not, but I'm Eastern Orthodox, and my Easter was yesterday.
Okay.
So Christ is risen.
Amen.
I wanted the day off today. I'm not going to lie. I'm certainly not going to lie to you, Reverend Screen. You're, so for obvious reasons.
Well, I appreciate that.
But yeah, I'm here. Good evening, everyone.
Peter, well, this is Peter Kapanides. He's a representative from the State Highway Administration. Has been with us all of the 5.5 years of our existence as a group and committee. Peter, we always welcome your presence and always your insights into things that what you can give us in terms of the forecast future for Indian Head Highway infrastructure improvements and the things that have happened here of late. I know there's been some activity in the Accokeek area and probably other areas that I don't know about, but I'm going to let you go ahead, Peter, to go ahead and to give your presentation to all of us and what you have to say from the last 30 days of activity for the the Indian Head Highway community.
Thank you, Reverend Screen, and good evening, everyone. The main thing, I guess, which is obvious, is the resurfacing of Maryland 228 Berry Road. And we plan on reinstalling what had been removed in order to perform the resurfacing work. And I don't have an exact schedule. All of you know more than I do because you're there. I haven't had a chance to go down to 210 as of late because of, there is a lot going on in this county. I do commit to putting back what has already been there in terms of flex posts and ensuring that motorists stay honest and they don't make aggressive attempts when making lefts from Maryland 228 onto southbound Maryland 210, which is a good segue because as Ron knows, and now you will all know, the University of Maryland's CAT lab, which has done excessive research on collecting information in regards to traffic. And so they measure traffic volumes, congestion, speeds along the major roadways. And they are going to be performing research for the State Highway Administration to look at some traffic calming measures that I've been talking about implementing. And over the summer, we're planning on installing those various traffic measures so that the CAT lab, and CAT is an acronym. I do not know what the acronym stands for, but they do research on traffic. So that's one of the main things that they do. And they're going to do research on what kind of effect these traffic calming measures will have on controlling speeds, if possible, and of course, and I'm anticipating that it will have a positive effect. So I'm staying positive there. And this is going to be along various sections of the 4-lane divided section of 210 from the Charles County line to Maryland 228 in both directions. So the idea is if the traffic calming devices are evenly spaced, that we will achieve a conditioning of the speeds along the road. So we're not, and I'm purposefully doing it that way to get that specific effect. So that is the main thing that we are working on, in addition to buttoning up getting the installation of the flex posts along sections of the shoulder on the northern part of 210 in the area between Palmer Road and Old Fort Road North, and then Old Fort Road North and Fort Washington Road. So that's so that in a nutshell. Well, we have stuff on Fort Washington Road, but it's really the area right by Old Fort Road North, heading southbound. I'm not going to steal Ron's thunder if you haven't done so already, because I know there's some positive developments in the area that he's been focusing on. So with that, I'm going to, thank you. I saw someone put a note in about the CAT lab. So shout out to you. Thank you for that. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to you, Reverend Screen.
Okay. Well, thank you for that introduction of the CAT Advanced Transportation Technology Laboratory.
Yeah.
I'd like to know, when will this be implemented, and what can we expect to see in terms of the type of operation, or the type of activity that they will be performing on the highway? What can you expound on that somewhat?
So they've been awarded the contract to pursue the research. It's going to be a 2-year-long duration, and they're going to first of all collect data showing what the existing conditions are in terms of the speeds. And all of us who have been on these monthly meetings know what they are, in excess of 100 and 150 and 160 miles per hour through here. And so they'll be collecting data on the speeds. They're going to look at other roads that are similar in characteristics to 210 for other, in other parts of the country, to see if the problems are similar, and if they've actually, if other departments of transportation have had similar problems and how they've handled the situation. And then we're going to implement the traffic calming measures with the quick curb. There's going to be 2 different types of quick curb, and of course the flex post that everybody knows, that's been used throughout Maryland 210 on the shoulders. And so to give you a sense of the quick curb, it's curbing, but there are vertical delineators. There's 2 different types of vertical delineators. One looks like, well, there's more than 2, but the 2 that I'm using is going to be, one is going to be flex posts, but they're going to be attached to this long, the sections of this raised curbing, which has it's a little bit more durable in terms of handling a certain level of punishment. And the other one is going to be what I call paddles. So they're very, they're rectangular, and they're much more noticeable than the flex post variety of the quick curb. And then, of course, the flex posts, they're either mounted through adhesive, or they can be bolted down. I believe that we've been using the special adhesive for the flex post. So so then once they're installed, then they're going to do some extensive observations and collect data, obviously speed data, to determine if it's had the intended effect. And I think one thing that is going to be telling, aside from having that tunnel effect, is what happens in between the calming treatments. Now, if I've done it right, we should see people driving at more reasonable speeds. Now, I don't, and people have their own interpretations and wonder what that means. Well, we don't, obviously we have the speed cameras out there that are doing a certain level of regulation, but the intent is from the areas beyond where the speed cameras are they actually driving, let's say, closer to 70 miles per hour as opposed to 150 miles per hour? Or are they, actually looking at what we've implemented and, and maybe it's not having the intended effect, but this research is going to tell us if it is having an effect. I'm hoping that I'll get, well, not I'm hoping, I will. We're going to be getting feedback throughout the research project. And if there's any other treatments that we should try in order to improve on what we're trying to do, then we'll certainly do that.
Okay.
And that's hopefully that in a nutshell will be what it is. So Mr. Jones, cost. Okay, it's going, so the research project, I think the current projection is $160,000. Part of that is going to include the installation of the traffic calming treatment, but so it's sort of, we're going to try and keep it to $160,000, but if there is I need to go a little bit to make some adjustments, it may go up to the neighborhood of $200,000. But yeah, with these research grants that we get, you know, there is a certain cap depending on the scope of the project.
Two quick questions, and I know we have some hands that are raised also, but when can we see the beginning of this and project beginning, and how long duration of time can we expect for this to continue or to work its way through the year?
Okay, so so we have awarded the research project to the CAT lab as of last week.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to start on the research on the existing conditions. The summer is when we're anticipating installing the traffic control devices, the next post and the quick curb, and then they're going to be doing research along the way to see what effect the treatments have.
Okay, so are we looking at through the end of the year?
It's going to go into at least, well, it's a 2-year-long project, so it's going to be this year, and maybe I believe the end date may be the end of next year,
I got
2024.
You. Okay, I think I've got two questions. We'll spin on this, and then we're going to move on because we have a lot to cover. I think Mr. Joseph Trampini, you had your hand up first, and then we'll go to Dwayne Bowie.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Reverend Screen. Peter, you mentioned you had not been down the resurfaced Maryland 228, and as someone who has, I just want to point out my observation is it looks like the striping, the yellow striping along the median area of the resurfaced roadway might have been a victim of distracted striping. It's
that's not something you hear every day.
He's being nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got the picture. I certainly got the picture. It's not exactly what we call straight and smooth, and what, you know, and what we all expect to be, you know, appropriate striping.
Okay, well, I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bowie, I think you have your hand up next.
Yes, real quick. I think initially you said the scope of the work for the CAT lab research was between Charles County line and 228, and then you mentioned Old Fort Road. I wasn't sure which one it was. What was the scope?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The limits are from the Charles County line to Maryland 228. It's just that section. It's the 4-lane divided section, and the reason I chose that area specifically was because it is easier to try and provide or to implement the tunnel effect for, you know, a 2-lane road in each direction, than it is for a 3-lane road in each direction. When I was talking about Old Fort Road North, it was about installing additional flex posts to prevent motorists from using the shoulder to bypass the queuing, which is a pervasive thing, as you all know.
Yes.
So, you know, we're going to continue to keep people honest and not try to do anything crazy and dangerous.
Okay.
Thank you. And real quick, you mentioned, I'm trying to vision the quick curb. You said the paddles, or they would be rectangular. Now, I understand the flex posts are like in emergency lanes, but I couldn't vision where you're putting these rectangular devices.
Okay, good. That's a good question. So the quick curb is going to be installed immediately adjacent. Well, actually, let me change that. So right now we have 2 12-foot lanes in each direction. I want to narrow them down to 11-foot lanes. And the way that's going to be done is the quick curb is going to be on the existing edge line. And we're going to put in an edge line that's going to be a foot offset into the lane. So that it's going to be striped for 11-foot lanes as opposed to 12-foot lanes. And they're going to be, now for cost purposes, we're going to segment the quick curb. They're going to be small sections, but they're going to be a total of 300 feet long. And they're going to be spaced approximately every quarter to a half mile along 210 between the Charles County line and 228.
Okay, thank you. That helps.
Okay. We can revisit this maybe a little later in our tonight's meeting, but I did want to move on to probably the things that most of you probably online want to hear some things about. As we have gotten into this year, all of us know, for those of us who've been a part of our meetings, that we came into the year going into the General Assembly with 2 bills. One that was going to be addressing the increase in the fines of the infraction of citations from the static $40 fine that we have now and have been having, and which is currently pretty much throughout the county, to increase it in something to parallel pretty much what an individual would get if they were pulled over by a police cruiser in terms of their equating their speed to that fine. That bill was HB 431. And then we had the increase of the number of cameras that we also tried to get through as a bill. Our original intent was to get 7 to up our total number to 10 on any head highway. And so what I'm going to do is, if I can get Brother Ron Weiss to elaborate on both of these bills. And before I turn it over to you, Ron, I want to let me just highlight and summate what I wanted to cover here tonight. I want to cover both bills, how things went in the General Assembly from the delegates to the Senate. How all of that went. So Ron, I'll turn that over to you if you wouldn't mind explaining that to our audience. But also, we have been addressing a number of things going into this new year. The other issue, many of you probably saw the newscast back here in February regarding the camera efficiencies issue, and I want to have some things to say about that, where we stand with that whole issue. But also the last thing having to do with trying to get the Maryland State Troopers on the highway to complement the Prince George's County Police as well. There's been some movement in that area also. So, but first of all, let us go. And also we have something coming up. I wanted to introduce this coming Wednesday. Mr. Mello Woods, I'm going to have you, if you're still on the line, to comment on that, if you wouldn't mind.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so if would it be okay to divert to you to explain the opportunity we have from Wednesday,
Sure.
what the group is having at the fire station in Livingston Road, Akakeek Fire Stations. I'll have you to elaborate on that after these other discussion points. So Ron, I will thank you for that, Ms. Woods, if you for doing that. Ron, I'm going to turn it over to you that you can explain to our audience how things happen here in the General Assembly, going from January to our current status, where the bills were concerned, and you can explain it in the way in which you know how best to more or less uncover all of the I guess the things at hand, Ron, that has got us to this point where we are right now.
Thank you, Reverend Screen. Well, you may know that we had two bills in the hopper, HB 431, which changed the speed camera fines, speed camera fines in incremental fashion as the speeds went up, and also added extra fees for people who had multiple speed camera fines in the 2-year period. And the second bill, for HB 435, initially asked for a total of 10 cameras on 210, and also extended the sunset of the authorization we have for the speed cameras from currently September 30th, 2023, and it's the bill extends it an additional 5 years. So we had those two bills in the HB, the more critical bill. They're both important to us, but the more critical bill was HB 435, mainly because without that bill being passed, our whole speed camera program would end September 30th of this year. So that bill made it through the House Environment and Transportation Committee, was passed by the House, went to the Senate, was passed by the Senate Judicial Proceedings Committee, and has passed the General Assembly and is waiting for the governor's signature. HB 431, the one that changed the fines, never made it out of the Environment and Transportation Committee. And we don't have a good explanation for that, other than I think it was a victim of some horse trading in that committee. And I don't know, that's about all I can say, because that's all I know. That rather than push that one at the expense of some other bill that they thought was even more important, they put the HB 431 in a desk drawer, so it kind of disappeared, and it's gone from sight. Delegate Valderrama has told us that she will push that bill once again next session, next year. And one of our jobs from now until then is to help bolster the support for additional speed camera fines for we now have a top speed of 170 miles an hour on 210, and that if that speeder were cited, I'll call him a he, I don't know, but he would get a $40 fine, just like somebody who went 80 miles an hour. So we got, what I say is we got half a loaf. We went in with a full loaf of bread, and we got half a loaf, better than a loaf, and especially the half a loaf that we got was the more important one, that we still now will have a speed camera program, provided the governor signs the bill, which I have no reason to suspect that he will not. It should be relatively uncontroversial at his level. We did get pushback on speed camera bills from Republican legislators who almost always vote against speed camera bills, any speed camera bill, all speed camera bills. And we got pushback from Democratic legislators in which I guess it's called the Tri-County Coalition or Committee of Charles County, St. Mary's County, and Calvert County. And they claim that we're targeting drivers coming from those counties who want to use 210. And how we do that, I have no idea how we could do that, how we would do it, why we would do it. But that's their claim, that we're taxing their commute from the southern counties to the district. If I had a chance to confront them, I would tell them I value your life as much as my life, and if you break the law in Prince George's County, just like if I break the law, we both deserve fines. And I think everyone, the speed cameras are an equal opportunity enforcement mechanism. They don't know who you are, where you're coming from, where you're going, what you're driving. They should be ticketing anybody that goes 12 miles an hour over the speed limit or more. And anyway, I think that's a red herring. I think that whatever. I don't know why they're doing that, but I have my suspicions. So we're going to, my plan is to, well, I don't know yet. Should we try to convince them that that's wrong, or should we just press on without them knowing that, we probably can't change their minds. And what we want to do is show that we want to have such a good program that they'll want to have our fall in line and get speed cameras of their own. Right? That's another way to go about it. I don't know. I think we can get the bill through regardless of them. But we'll see. But we'll need everybody to support it, just like we did support these two bills this go around. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ron, for that report. I want to go right in as I explain the other things that kind of go along with the whole idea why we're doing this, why we've gone to the General Assembly. And I'm looking at the data report that we were able to receive by way of the council, covering the months of December, January, and February. Now, this is only the latest that I've been able to accrue in terms of the speed camera data. Now, where I'm going with this is that, as I've said on this line in this committee to all of you in this open audience, we have been having a problem, unfortunately, of getting what they call the conversion rate, which is the number of speed citations, the total number of citations or possible citations that the cameras are reading, converted to actually citations given. In other words, the speed cameras are recording infractions, but the number of people who are getting the citations is dramatically different from the first number of what where the citation, where the infractions are, the numbers from the infractions are given. Now, I'm looking at as I speak to you, data reporting from December of last year, January of this year, February of this year. Now, with the analytics done by Ron Weiss on these 3 cameras, and this is for all 3 for those 3 months. There were over 6,417 possible citations. In other words, those were people that were recorded going over 67 miles per hour in that time period. 6,417 that were possible persons who that were cited. Now, here, there's always a vetting period when they get this possible citation reading, because there can be emergency vehicles that go through that time period, through that speed. There can be police, there can be fire, there can be ambulances of that nature. Those are the vetting types of issues or scenarios where those vehicles would not be counted. And remember the number 6,417. The actual number of people who actually got citations in that period was 2,415. In other words, there's over 4,000 people in that number that did not get citations. And that conversion rate, which we're talking about, the conversion rate is actually that number, that high number I gave you, the 6,417 of people that had actually gone over the speed limit, and the camera registered that. But then the number of people who got citations, 2,415, over 4,000 didn't get a citation, which was a conversion rate of only 38%. Now, for those of you who saw the Tracy Wilkins report back in February, they did a comparison of the type of conversion rate we were having with these cameras during the month of April to, I think it was November of last year. It was about, the conversion rate was about 41% for us. And they did a comparison with Baltimore, I think on I-83 cameras that they're using up there. The conversion rate was 97%. So that's where we are in terms of how we're comparing with a very, one of the localized other camera areas in the state of Maryland. Now, where this has a bearing and circumstance that we all should be noting, this is again what Ron was able to do in the analytics. The potential lost revenue for those 3 months, only the 3 months, not the other 8 months that I was reading about from April to November, but the 3 months from December to February, the potential lost revenue was $160,080, which adds up to, as he puts it, $53,360 a month, or $640,320 a year. This is what we're losing, okay? To the degree that the monies that are supposed to go towards the infrastructure improvement on 210 from these fines is pretty much nil, because first of all, what has to come off the top from the revenue from the fines, the revenue has to pay for the cameras, has to pay for the vendors, their take, then the cameras, then what's ever left over goes to this infrastructure fund, which is pretty much nil. Now, one thing that Ron has found out through one of the meetings that was held not long ago with the Revenue Authority, who is actually the entity that's dispersing the money, is that irregardless of the number of infractions or citations that are given, the vendor contractor gets the same amount of money. They get paid a flat rate. Okay. So if we're not getting enough money in the fines, and we're only getting enough money to pay for the cameras and pay their salary or their, whatever goes into their contracting fee, what's the point of the cameras? See, this is where this conversion rate should have meaning for all of us. The monies that we had. Now, here's another number that you need to take note of. Between the months of April And I think it was April and October, not November, April and October, there was 684 people that were clocked going over the speed limit of over 90 miles per hour and above. Over 90 miles per hour and above, 684 people. None of them in that 8-month period, in that time period, got a citation. Zero. So this is lost revenue, but this is also lost value of the deterrent factor. The faster you go, the more unlikely you're to get a ticket or get a citation. This is what we have been fighting with, as well as the other matters going to the General Assembly, trying to get the 2 bills passed. We have been fighting this issue as well. Also, we have been fighting the issue of trying to get the Maryland State Troopers on the presence of, have their enforcement presence on Indian Head Highway as well. That has been an ongoing dilemma since, well, the MOU was actually put in place that put Prince George's County as the primary enforcement agency on the Prince George's segment of the roadway. This is 23 years of this MOU that put this in place, which has been several attempts on that on behalf of our committee to try to renounce that MOU, but without any headway with it. But it's still an issue. It's something that we have again, continued to fight for, eradicating that MOU to get both Prince George's County and Maryland State Troopers on this highway for enforcement. Now we have, as I think I've noted earlier in our meeting here, I have written a letter regarding that issue to the governor, and there have been the state troopers on the highway here of late in the last, I think 2 or 3 weeks, but we don't know the status if this is something that was just done on a spur of the moment. Was this something that's done just, we don't know what the status is in terms of where we are with this MOU and their likelihood to be there on a long-term basis. So these are the things that we have also been fighting for, and behind the scenes trying to get these things rectified, not just the bills, not just the increase in fine, not just increase of the numbers of cameras, but also trying to get something done in terms of the accuracy of the more proficiency, I would say, of the cameras themselves, but also this thing with the MOU also. So it's good that we got the 3 additional cameras. We're elated about that, but we still have a long way to go in terms of things needing to be done to bring the right type of enforcement measures on Indian Head Highway. We lost 10 people last year on this highway, 10 people. It's just under, I think, 89 people in the last 15 years, going back to 2007, ending at the end of 2022. So we have in this 14-mile segment of roadway more deaths than any other roadway in the state of Maryland in the DMV. In a condensed fashion. So we need these measures to better our situation here on this highway, and 210 is happy to be able to make efforts in that direction. All those things being said, we'll just open these things up to conversation as we go by, but I want to turn things over to Ms. Delegate Jamila Woods. She has something to let us know on a positive note in terms of what her office and others have been doing that have an opening in terms of operation coming up here on Wednesday. She's going to let us know the details about it. I'm sure something that we can all take heed to and hopefully be a part of. So Ms. Woods, if I can turn it over to you and you can explain exactly what it is on Wednesday, this District 26 day, I believe it is, that you have for us to discuss.
Yes, thank you so much, Reverend Screen, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for an opportunity to participate in the meeting, certainly to acknowledge all of your presence and hard work. If you don't mind, Reverend Screen, I'd like to make one suggestion with regard to the information that Ron, who always provides so much thorough information. When you talk about ways that we can address some of these issues, particularly the transportation issues on 210, I am actually not on the Environment and Transportation Committee. I serve on Health and Government Operations Committee, but I'm sure you know that all of these committee meetings are videoed. And so my suggestion is that we get a team together to start looking at the videos and hearing the testimonies for ourselves. I can provide you all with a copy of all of the testimony. I have access to all of the written testimony so that we can utilize what we know to go in. I plan to work with Chris, the Delegate Valderrama, during our next session. I absolutely will become a part of this transportation bill. I will co-sponsor and do anything that I can do to make sure we get these things moving. But my suggestion is that we get a group of people who are willing to sit down. As I said, I can provide you, Ron, with all of the, if you don't have it already, I don't want to be presumptuous, the written testimony for and against what you all were requesting, and those legislative priorities. And then we actually talk about a way to strategize so that when we come back next session, we'll be prepared for their questions, we'll be prepared for their objections. I think that Ron made an extremely important point when he said, listen, those cameras don't discriminate. They don't know who's from Charles County. They don't know whether you're from Charles County, Prince George's County, Virginia, DC. You know, we can come back with a stronger argument once we take the time to listen to the arguments that they're making against what we're asking for. And so I just wanted to make that suggestion. I do want to thank all of you all for your support in helping me to become elected as a delegate in this 26th district. I want you to know I've had a wonderful freshman year. I've learned a lot. I still have a whole lot to learn, but I continue to request your support. And so we will be having on this Wednesday evening, the 26th district legislative night. And the team actually, you know, gave me the task of hosting this. And so I'm really excited about it. Everyone who is a resident in the 26th legislative district is invited. It will be a wonderful event at the Accokeek Banquet Hall Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. There's a catered dinner. We have a live band. We'll actually show you some of the things that we've done. I'll actually be able to talk to you. We don't want to make it a part of the formal program, but I will have a copy of I actually sponsored 2 bills, both of which passed both the House and the Senate, one of which has already been signed into law by the governor. The next one, we're just waiting. And the other thing, Ron, the bill that you spoke of, HB 435, the governor will sign every bill so you don't have to worry about that. It's just a matter of getting the time. He has 1,000, literally more than 1,000 bills to sign, but he will get them signed. So that's not going to be an issue. I'm happy to discuss. I actually co-sponsored bills regarding transportation. A lot of the issues that you all have brought up, Robert Screen, I co-sponsored bills addressing them. And so I'd love to have the opportunity to speak to anyone. I personally sponsored 2 bills, but I co-sponsored 132 other bills, okay, impacting this county. And so I'm happy to have a discussion and, you know, find out those particular interests that you have and how we can, you know, make sure that we come together stronger to address them. This coming Wednesday, April the 19th, 6 to 8 p.m. If you have not registered, you need to get with me as soon as possible. Put your name in the chat, email address or something, because we actually closed off the registration. But if you have not registered and you're interested, I will assure that you are on the guest list. Wednesday, I guarantee you it's going to be a wonderful program. I thought that it would be, I was getting ready to say, and I said I can say it now because we got Reverend Dr. Robert Screen on the line, that I believe that the Lord really, you know, encouraged me to invite the HOAs, the civic associations, you understand what I'm saying, to bring everybody together. Amen. And so we actually will have tables with all of the local organizations that you understand what I'm saying? You all will have a table set up, but we want everybody to know who's available. And we want to look at ways where we can further collaborate and work together to get things done. So I hope that you can make it. Shoot me something in the chat. And Mr. Ron, I am so used to being voluntold that I hope I can voluntold you that if you don't get in touch with me, that you let Mr. Weiss know so that he can let me know. Okay. Those persons who may have been somehow overseen, and I will assure that you all have a seat. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful event, and I hope that you'll join us. Thank you so much, Reverend Screen.
Well, we thank you, Delegate Woods, for all the effort that you have put into this county, this community. We need people who have a passion, and just as you have expressed, as you're letting us know, involving yourself and opening yourself up as well for all the rest of us to be a part of this wonderful night. So we're thankful. Forgive me, this phone ringing in the background. We got the spammers who are always calling this phone. But anyway, we thank you so much for that open invitation, and we know that it's going to be great. So we just pray that you know, everything, and we know that it's going to come out to be a very good night, that we all can come together for our community. And we thank you for heading it up and doing what you're doing. We just say more power to you, and the Lord be blessings upon you to give you strength and guidance and direction for the future yet to come. Amen.
Amen. I received that. Thank you.
Okay. I want to open things up here. I think that there's a couple of questions here. Herbert Jones. Okay, I see Herbert Jones, the Tantala Area Civic Association is wants to attend. And I see Lee Harvey. I'm interested in attending Wednesday, along with CETA, Zeno St. Cyr, Carolina Willis, and we got a host of people who want to attend. So you're getting some people right here on the line, and they certainly want to be a part of this. And I think it's a wonderful thing to show what has happened in the sessions that just completed, but also to let people know what has been done in terms of bills being passed, bills that are still waiting to get, I guess still have to come back next year. All of that, I'm sure that you are going to explain that very well during that time in session. So we're 100% behind you, and thank you so much for putting this together so we can all come together to find, be more enlightened and more aware of what's happening on that level of legislation. Thank you so much. Yes, I'd like to get now, open up to the floor. We've talked about a lot of things here tonight, and very important things still yet to be done. But for those of you who may have questions, for those of you who may have comments, I'd just like to open it up for you right now. And so I see Joseph Trappini once again has his hand raised. So Joseph, go right ahead and let's hear your question, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Reverend Doctor. This is a follow-up observation for Peter. Mm-hmm. Back in March, I raised my observation that the no right turn on red on northbound 210 at Livingston Square, there were a lot of people just blowing through that no right turn on red. You had said that the state highway had put that sign up to mitigate any issues of traffic going up that kind of service road in that intersection on northbound 210. And I asked if there was any way to make that no turn on red more conspicuous, because I had seen in my travels through the country signs that have like a fluorescent border, like an orange or very reflective border around the sign to make it more conspicuous. And you had said, no, that's not part of the standard. Well, northbound 210 at Old Fort Road South, around the traffic signals in that intersection have an orange reflective border around those signals, the electric signals. So I'm just making my observation again. Is there anything that can be done to make those no turn on reds more conspicuous? Because I stop at that intersection, and I wish I'd pull my cell phone out to photograph all the people, including U.S. Postal Service trucks, just blowing through that right turn on red.
Okay, so there is a standard, and it will continue to be retrofitted in throughout the state to have the retroreflective, the contrasting yellow border back plates. for the signal heads. That is not something now. As far as signing on the mast arms, that is not standard. What we are going to do, and unfortunately the work order hasn't been done yet, is have a ground mounted sign near the stop line for no turn on red for emphasis of the no turn on red. The no turn on red is enforceable, so the police in theory can issue citations for those who do it. But the plan right now is we're going to put a ground mounted sign, and we'll see how that works. If we need to do something more, we'll have to ask for permission from the Office of Traffic and Safety to install something larger than what is considered standard.
Okay, thank you, Peter.
Sure.
Okay.
How?
That's my daughter.
Any other comments or questions that anyone has?
Good evening. I am P. Lee Harvey, president of CEDA, South County Economic Development Association, and a stakeholder in this whole issue involving excessive speeds on Highway 210. And we have a member of our committees on here tonight, our Transportation Committee, Mr. Zeno St. Cyr, who's been, I think, actively participating with you.
Yes, he has.
I want to thank Reverend Screen and Delegate Woods for your actions. We are a stakeholder. We are with you 100%. And Ms. Caroline Wills is also on board tonight. And I think I saw several other people who are parts of CEDA, Mr. Darrell Odom. So we are here to help whatever measures we can take to get this issue resolved, to get these speeds down on 210.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We need all of the help that we can get. Let me digress a little bit. And I spoke to our group yesterday about this. About a little less than 2 months ago, I was my Reverend Tierney and I, my wife and I, went to a transportation meeting that was held in Upper Marlboro, and I keep always forgetting the council person's name, but they had a recent accident. I think all of us probably had witnessed. A young gentleman in high school was killed as he was trying to pass a vehicle on the right side of the road and ran into a trailer that was parked there. And this was also after another incident where I think there was a bad issue of an accident. I don't know if someone had lost their life, but it was a very bad accident in the same community. And so there was a town hall meeting that was held, and I got a chance to speak to the people there in terms of what we have tried to lend some advice in terms of the 210 Traffic Safety Committee, how we've come together and that sort of thing. I had someone to come to me from that community after the meeting, and they and almost in tears, they were telling me that they had tried to gather people in that community for some time, and they were not able to really get a gathering. I mean, people had everybody had an opinion about the loss of life and the traffic and the speeding in their community, just like we have here, but they didn't have the cohesiveness within the community to come together as a galvanized group of people. And this is what I want to say to all of you who are on this line. 210 Traffic Safety Committee has been up and running for now 5.5 years. We started in August of 2017, and that was basically by way of the fact that we, at that time, I think we had 7 fatalities that particular year. A number of them, before that time. We all remember back in February of 2008 with the 8 people killed on Pine Drive and Indian Highway. The difference is that you all not just grieve the loss, but you're willing to come together to stop other losses. It means something when community comes together. Yes, we only got 3 of the 7 cameras that we really tried to get, this legislative period. Yes, we did not get the increase in fine, but we did get the 3. And I look at that as a community victory. We are moving ahead. However, when we may look at it, I look at every increment of progress as something better. The conditions of safety on this highway. We've lost just too many people. I think we're at 89 people in the last 15 years, going back to 2007. But here's the thing is, you all, each one of you, are part of a caring community. You want change. You're signing up on documents. You're signing up petitions. You come on this meeting every 30 days to hear the upgrades, the things that we all need to hear in terms of better enlightening ourselves, better having ourselves educated. We have Peter here who's been steadfast, Peter Kapanides, who's been helping us with infrastructure improvement. Now we hear tonight we're working with something with the University of Maryland with this new program that's going to be instituted here in the summer. I mean, this is only coming to pass because you all, each one of us on this line, have shown that you care about your community. You care about these lives. You care about the ones that we're trying to keep safe for the future, that they don't become another victim on this terrible highway that in the past that we've had. We can make this change, and we are making the change together. So this victory that we have, it's only 3 additional ones, but here's the thing. We've got more cameras on Indian Highway on the state road than any other roadway in the state of Maryland. That says something in and of itself, because each one of those cameras is a mark of the push that as a community, we have come together to make it happen. And I know that coming up next year with this increase in fines, just as the gentleman from CETA, as you've given yourself and your commitment, just talk to Mr. Daryl Oldham, who's talking about the HOAs that are coming together to push behind us, trying to get this thing with the MOU and the Maryland State Trooper eradicated, getting that. We're moving, we're getting something done. We're getting attention at the governor's level to make movement on this highway to make it better. So I just want to encourage each and every one of you, continue the push, continue your awareness, continue to talk to other people around you about, how we want to improve this. The cameras are only one portion of a larger scope of things that can be done to make improvement. The cameras are not a silver bullet. I mean, they only register the speed. They don't register the reckless driving. They don't register the DUIs. So we need officers on the road to deal with that segment of the unsafe driving. But we can get that done together, and we are going to get it done together. So I just want to applaud you because, out of all the state of, and Peter probably can attest to this, you're unique. We're unique here. We have come together to show the state that we want their involvement for better on this roadway. And they're hearing us, and they're answering us by the things that we heard tonight in terms of this new test thing that they're trying to do to get people to slow down. So our efforts are making improvement. So I just want to encourage you. I want to keep everybody uplifted. And I want to just kind of continue to galvanize each and every segment of HOA, civic association, CETA, all our legislators, all of us. This is a victory that we are moving ahead as a community, caring about ourselves. I'll just close on this, that we've had 2 memorial services where we have tried to uplift those who have passed on by way of this, the fatalities on the highway, and to hear the pleas and the cries of some of the family members. Many of them are, how can I say it? The loss is still too fresh for them to come out and involve themselves but in private conversation, my wife and I have had with some of the members, they are 100% behind the efforts being done on their behalf. They don't want to see other family members have loss as they have incurred. And so there's a groundswell of us who are making a difference for better on this highway. Back in 2017, this highway was designated the highway of death. And rightfully so, unfortunately, because of the number of people that we've lost. We need to change this into the highway of life. And we're doing that to better our community, to better our housing stance in terms of in terms of the, in terms of them being more sellable, having the type of elevated assignment of their true value in a community that also has not just safe neighborhoods, but safe roads leading to the neighborhoods. So all of these things add together from what each one of us are doing, making this happenstance in a positive way. I salute all of you and thank all of you for what you're doing. And just pray that you continue to keep your encouragement up. Pray that you continue to keep yourself enlightened, involved, participating, and moving forward with the rest of it. We have a groundswell now moving in this direction. And so, get on board this train because we're going to the station house and we're accepting nothing less than victory when we come back again next year to the General Assembly. Amen? Okay. Well, I'll close on that. I think we're just about a little bit after 8 o'clock. Unless there's any other comments that anyone would like to make, or any other words of I see Herb Jones has his hand up. Herb, please go ahead and
just
comment as you see fit.
Just very quickly, and Reverend Dr. Screen and the 210 Safety Committee and all involved, I am truly encouraged, being one of the newer residents here, of this movement that we have right now. And as Delegate Wood said, the strategy going forward, listening to what they're saying, being prepared, makes me even more excited as we move into the next legislative session next year. So this is time where we can just gear up, get as many people involved, and just run to the finish line. I think back on the civil rights movement, and that took time. And this is taking time, but as you said, Reverend Screen, we are making tremendous progress. And I feel it, I see it. I see the behavioral change on 210. It's not happening overnight, but I see folks slowing down when they get to a certain, so it's happening. And I think once we get the fines, some more enforcement, we have the cameras, we're almost there. So thank everyone for their support, and Reverend Screen and Ron and others, 210 Safety Committee for all that you all have done. Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for that.
Reverend Robert, I wanted to add one thing.
Yes.
And, I noticed that Kathy Jones is on the call today, and I wanted to thank her for getting on because she's our communication line to Fort Washington Manor Senior Apartments at 210 and Fort Washington Road. There are two buildings up on the hill. And she's over there hospitality, but she always goes back and inform them of the updates and what's going on, because a lot of them are afraid to travel on 210, but that's their only way out. They go down the service road, but to get across to the other side, they've got to cross 210. So Kathy, I appreciate you being on the call. I know you will share the information and you're always welcome.
Yes, thank you. I will.
Amen to that. And I mean, it's really uplifting to see the galvanizing force of community. It's a beautiful thing to see when people are lockstep, moving in the same direction to improve their neighborhood. I mean, I cringe, but I understand it when I hear people say that they're afraid to get on Indian Highway. This is our main street. Indian Highway, it's our main street. Goes right through the heart of all of Fort Washington, Akakeek, Forest Heights. So, we should not be afraid to get on our main street. I mean, I understand the situation as it is right now, but we are going to improve this all together to make this a more livable community, and the highway being something modeled, improved, because the community people such as yourself care to the point that you're willing to involve and participate and do the things that needed to be done. Let's all support Ms. Delegate Woods' affair coming up here on Wednesday for all of us that can. And let's support her with our attendance, our participation, and anything that's asked of us, ask of her to that she's asking us to be a part of, so we all can be enlightened, so we all can be participators, so we all can enjoy our community that much more. Amen?
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Amen.
God bless to all of you. Thank you for the victory of, in what we have thus far with the 3 cameras. We're moving ahead and we're not stopping now. The train is out of the station and it's doing nothing less than going across that finish line to continue to improve, continue to get progress, continue to win the victory yet to come. God bless each one of you. Be safe on the road, and we hope to see you on Wednesday night.
Take care. God bless.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Take
night.
care. Stay safe.
Stay safe.